Hey, where'd that go? Where'd it go? What's that? Well, as I wondered what was going on, my husband got demoted because he seemed to be making more mistakes at work. He has never been a hard worker, so he didn't seem too shocked by the demotion. But he kept forgetting things more and more, so we went to the hospital just to make sure. I suspected that I might be depressed, but I was told that the disease was, in fact, juvenile Alzheimer's. To put it simply, it was dementia. I've heard that even young people can develop the disease these days, but I couldn't hide my shock that my husband had it. My name is Katie Smith. 5 years have passed since then, and I am now 50 years old, and my husband was 54. We were not blessed with children, and I continue to work. My parents have already passed away, but my husband's parents are still alive and well, and they live in the countryside a short distance from where we live. They're very warm people, and when my husband was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, they even suggested taking him in themselves and that I should get a divorce. But my husband, who originally hated living in that country, adamantly refused to do so. I didn't immediately decide to get a divorce because of my husband's illness either. We have been together for nearly 20 years as husband and wife, by fate, not just by sickness and in health. Though I thought it would be wrong to say goodbye just because he became ill. Although my husband became more forgetful, it wasn't like he could no longer lead a normal life. Perhaps the medication he takes to control the progression of the disease is working. It isn't so bad because it's not like he's unable to do anything, and he's still able to recognize me. Although he sometimes doesn't respond to me, he's not much different from a normal person when he acts normally. However, when I asked him about certain things, he often says he doesn't know or doesn't remember. He made more mistakes at work and sometimes cried when he couldn't understand the paperwork. I'm thinking of quitting the company, so if I quit, would you support me? He said. But I couldn't say no to my anxious husband, and in the end he quit the company. He never goes out and spends most of his time at home, but I don't see any problematic behavior when he's inside the house. He often leaves things out and doesn't put them away or comes home to find food all over the place. But it's not like he's bothering anyone else, so it's within the realm of acceptable behavior. So my husband has been home ever since he quit his job. I talked to the doctor about the possibility of having someone to take care of him while I am away at work, but he said that I don't have to worry too much because he still has the ability to detect danger. The doctor said we will talk again when the disease progresses. For now, the doctor told me to tell my husband to lock the door when he goes out and not to go outside alone. I was still a little concerned if he would be okay with that, but he just kept saying it's okay to be alone, and sometimes he lost his temper if I insisted too much. Shut up, I'm sick. Don't talk about unnecessary things. You're confusing my head more and more. Be considerate to me. I had to leave him alone because I couldn't handle him. 5 years before my husband's illness was discovered at the age of 40, I was promoted to a section manager. My salary increased, so even if my husband left the company, we didn't suddenly find ourselves in a difficult situation. We didn't have children, so we had a good amount of savings, and the savings were still untouched. I was really glad that I was working. I only hope that life will continue to be as normal as possible. However, there's one thing that's been bothering me lately. Things often go missing. Many of the things that are missing are brand-name bags that I used to cherish, shoes and clothes that I had just bought, and other things that are pretty expensive. I saved them up and bought them as a reward for myself. I looked for them, wondering if I put them somewhere unusual, but I couldn't find them. When I asked my husband about it, all he said was, "I don't know." I asked him, "Hey, do you remember taking it somewhere?" "No, I don't remember." My husband just repeats the same words. I wonder if his illness has progressed to the point where he doesn't even remember that he took them out of the house. When I come home from work and ask what he did today, he often says, "I can't remember." The doctor told me that sometimes the progression of the disease is slow and sometimes rapid, but I couldn't help but wonder if the progression was getting faster. If this were the case, I would be concerned about leaving him alone while I'm away. If he started to wander around, I wouldn't be able to take care of him by myself. I was so worried about how my husband was doing that I set up surveillance cameras in the house without telling him. What if he starts wandering around bothering other people? I don't want him to do that. If that were to happen, I would have to deal with the situation accordingly. A week later, after my husband went to sleep, I fearfully checked the footage from the camera. But what I saw there was far beyond what I imagined, and I was astonished. I had no idea that this was happening. My husband was bringing a woman into our home. I hadn't even had a proper conversation with my husband for the past 5 years. He only answered vaguely when I asked him anything, but in the video he was talking normally without any barriers. It was hard to believe that he was suffering from dementia. Moreover, I was even more surprised when I saw the face of the woman who came in. It was a female doctor who had diagnosed my husband with dementia. The hospital we went to was the one that was in charge of medical checkups for my husband's company. Was this some kind of sick joke between my husband and the female doctor, or is it a complete lie that he has dementia? Are you sure that she hasn't found out about it at all? Not at all. Dementia is a convenient disease. I don't have to work and I could just say I don't remember anything inconvenient. What a bad man. You make your wife work while you relax at home and bring your mistress along. He started it, didn't you? When I said I was tired of working and wanted to quit, you said he had a good idea. I didn't think it would go so well. The woman was shown crossing her legs as she laughed with my husband. She's very cocky. Anyway, I don't know if she got promoted to section chief or whatever, but she's getting paid more and more than me. She's getting ahead of me. I'm sure she must have looked down on me, but thanks to her we can spend time like this. Well, she's my ATM, so she's got to keep working hard. You said she was your housekeeper the other day. He's my housekeeper and ATM. Thought this is what it meant to have my mind go blank. The words coming out of the screen swirled in my head over and over. Oh, and Hannah, don't take things out of the house too much because my wife noticed some stuff is missing. She said, why don't you just take them out of the house and pretend they're gone? It's a disease, so you can just say you forgot it. Well, that's true. No other disease is as convenient as this one. No, I won't have to work for the rest of my life. So, that's what this is. What was I who has been trying to support him without questioning him? For 5 years, I've worked so hard and done so much housework without knowing what I was doing. I felt like an idiot and felt as if my power has been drained from my entire body. For some reason, I suddenly burst into laughter. I thought I might have gone crazy. That's how angry, sad, frustrated, and despairing I felt. And the despair didn't end there. I checked my bank book to see if it was possible, but my balance was 0. All deposits I've saved since we got married were taken out. I felt so lost. I thought it was the end of the world. I couldn't feel an emotion when dawn broke. My husband woke up with a nonchalant look on his face, and as soon as I saw him, I felt a rage welling up inside my emotionless soul. Where's breakfast? Felt like grabbing my husband by the chest and cursing him with all my power, but I resisted the urge. My husband still didn't know that I knew the truth. I couldn't stop myself from just confronting him with the truth and making him apologize right here and now. However, I had no idea what to do, but I knew that even if I got angry at him, he would just smile at me and say, "You found out, didn't you? What are you planning to do today? What is it? You never asked me that. I'm just wondering what you do at home every day. I really want to work like you do, but I'm sick, so I just scare everyone around me. Some trouble. I envy you for being able to work." I wondered how he could say such things so blatantly. Of course, since it is a clear fact that he cheated on me, I can use it as a reason to file for alimony and divorce. But when I thought about the past 5 years, I was so frustrated and burst into tears. I feel that people who can do such things with impunity would normally say, "I'm just kidding." Then they will try their best to make excuses by putting up some unexplainable logic. A few days passed as I figured out what I should do. Just looking at my husband's face made me want to throw up, but I endured it patiently. The camera remained attached. My husband thought I knew nothing about it, so he continued to bring the doctor in when I was out of town. I said, "Hey, did anyone come in today? I thought I smelled someone else," he said. "Well, I might have come, but I don't remember. Maybe it was a salesman. So how are you feeling? You've been looking better lately. Are you on the men treatment? I don't think so. I think I've become more forgetful lately. The doctor said that once you had the disease, you can slow down the progression, but you can't cure it. That's right. That doctor was a beautiful woman, wasn't she? Was she? I can't remember her face. In a way, I was impressed that he could continue to act like this for so long. I couldn't just shut up and sit, so I visited my parents-in-law with the recorded video in my hand without telling my husband. They're always so kind and considerate to me, but they're my husband's parents. It was alive. I said I didn't worry at all. No matter how bad he might be, he's their son, and they could take my husband's side rather than mine. They might say that my husband cheats on me because I, his wife, am not good enough. Some might say that I was an unfit wife for not understanding my husband's reluctance to go to work even after telling such a lie. I had no one else to talk to. I was thinking if both of them blamed me, I would just give up, shut up, and get a divorce. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I'm sorry to call you out of the loop, but I wanted to talk to you about something. What's wrong? You look so worn out. What happened? Man, anyway, come on up. Are you hungry? I'll make you something hot to eat. My mother-in-law's words almost made me cry. I didn't need to worry at all. My parents-in-law, who saw the video of the affair between my husband and the female doctor, got down on their knees and apologized to me on the spot. Stupid son, I'm so sorry. Katie, I am so sorry. Instead of blaming me, they were crying and holding my hands, which made me cry too. It was as if all the tension that built up in me for so long was suddenly gone. But that didn't make my anger at my husband disappear. But I was happy from the bottom of my heart to know that I have someone on my side. There was one more thing that made me happy. To my surprise, I received an offer of promotion to a department head position. I was more than happy to know that there was a place where I would be recognized if I worked hard. I was reassured that there is a place for me too. Hey, Katie, are you listening to me? What? Oh, I'm sorry. I was a little spaced out. I was thinking about how I could punish my husband, and I got a little carried away. It's not funny if you and your husband are both demented. His words made me think of something. I wondered if you would take care of me if I became demented. Screw you. I've got my hands full with me myself. There's no way I can take care of you. When I said this, my husband looked at me with wide eyes. From then on, I've tried to say a little more of what he said before every day to make it more real. Hey, what was I doing earlier? I've been making a lot of mistakes at work lately. I seem to be forgetting things. I forgot how to use the washing machine or how to cook rice. My husband began to get more and more nervous. Working, but I'm glad you're here. One day when I came home from work, I found out that my husband left the house. He left behind the divorce papers he had already filled out. He even left a polite note. I don't want to cause you any more trouble, so I've decided to divorce you. Please don't look for me, Ken. I know he ran away because he thought I might have dementia. Besides, I know exactly where my husband left off. My husband rented an apartment so that he could continue his relationship with the female doctor. This was also revealed in the hidden video. I'm getting a divorce. It won't be funny if I have to take care of her. I have already moved my savings to another place, so I won't have to worry about living for a while, he said with a laugh. He politely told her where his apartment was. I knew where the doctor lived from the conversation, so I went to the neighborhood. The female doctor was married and lived in a house in the suburbs with her family. I immediately submitted the divorce paper and sent a bill for alimony and property division to her husband's newly rented apartment. Of course, I'd also sent the female doctor a bill for alimony by certified mail. It seemed like my husband received it, and he called me right away. What the hell? What's this about alimony? Of course, it's alimony for cheating on me. What? Oh, yeah, I sent it to that lady doctor too. I'm sure her husband must have found out about it by now, and they're having a hard time. In addition to the one I sent to the woman doctor, I also sent the video taken by the hidden camera to my husband. I thought her husband had a right to know. Oh, you. How did you know that? I was surprised too. Can't believe it was all a lie. I thought you were going crazy. Oh, I was just trying to imitate you. You're so easy to fool, aren't you? You. My husband shut his eyes to what he did and started yelling at me. He said to me, I'm cheating dirty. Do you think you have a right to be angry with me after pretending to have dementia for 5 years and living off my earnings? And you even brought a woman into the house. Do you think you're allowed to do that? I guess my husband never even dreamed that I knew everything. Suddenly he became slurred. But what do you mean, property division? I don't have property. We have your savings. Oh. I've already spent it all, and there's not a penny left. I thought he has come this far and was still blabbing. I revealed that I planted a camera in her house. I also told him that I heard everything he had told the woman doctor. Then I had all the footage as evidence. I have solid proof. When I told him that his parents knew about this and were furious, he started yelling at me again, saying, How dare you tell them about this? He doesn't seem to understand that he has no right to yell at me now. Thank God he blabbed on and on so I didn't have to hire an investigative firm and spend any extra money. When I said this, my husband became silent for a while, perhaps at a loss for words, and then hung up the phone. The following month I received another call. What's going on? What? I just went to the apartment, and they said it was already canceled. What apartment? The apartment we lived in, of course. I thought to myself, he was the one who left the divorce papers, so I didn't expect him to come back. When I told him that I canceled the lease immediately after my husband left, he started to get angry, asking me what I did without telling him. I was told that my husband, who was unemployed, couldn't be the tenant of the apartment, so when he quit his job, I changed the name of the apartment to mine. So it was up to me to decide when to terminate the lease and where to move. I bought a condo. I live there now. You bought it with the alimony I got from you and your lover and the savings I got back. It's a small apartment, but it's my castle. Really? I'm going there then. I wonder what kind of people would have such an idea. You have a girlfriend, don't you? I already broke up with her. Her husband found out she was cheating on him and divorced her. She was pointed to the finger in the hospital, made a diagnostic error, got sued by a patient. Her husband and you are both suing her for alimony, and now she's in debt. Oh, really? So I decided to start over with you. Then the alimony will be canceled, and I can get the money back, right? I can't deal with this man anymore. Does he really think I accept his offer? He even started saying that he and I should get back together and that the alimony being claimed by her husband should be returned to me. I feel like saying, Are you out of your mind? You're a fool. Why should I pay? We're divorced. I don't ever want to see your face ever again. There's no way in hell I'm getting back together with you. I said so and hung up on the phone and blocked all incoming calls from him. Apparently, my ex-husband then went to visit his parents. At that time, my ex-husband didn't know that his parents had actually sold their house and moved into an apartment for the elderly. They told me that he was surprised when he went to their house and saw that it was for sale and he contacted them. Since we had a lawyer intervening to collect the money for the division of property and alimony, there would be almost no money left in his pocket. My ex-husband was unable to find a new job and was evicted because he could no longer pay the rent on the apartment. He had nowhere to go, so he must have asked his parents for help. They must have anticipated this and decided to move out. If he came back, they might not be able to kick him out. They told me if that happened, they would be sorry for me. I heard that he's now living as a live-in worker at a factory somewhere, but he's so lazy that he can't work much. He gets yelled at and beaten up by employees much younger than him every day. It seemed he has contacted his parents several times for assistance, but they have brushed him off. A few months have passed since the divorce, and I still keep in touch with them. They're always concerned about me and are like my real parents to me. I want to continue to be close to them, and if something happens to them, I will be sure to take care of them. I've been promoted to department manager and my salary has increased. I intend to keep working hard. I am very much enjoying my peaceful life alone now.